Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket queens. Here's a preview of it. So on this hand, we had early position player raises. We get a caller, and then it's on. There's one more caller, and then it's on me. Geez, two callers. So there's four people in the pot. It's on me. Of interest is villain 6. So villain 6 just called an early position raise. This is probably a little too wide. But I do think this is probably appropriate. It's 11% of hands. He's playing 16-10. When we look at early position stats, he's played 14% of hands. His raise first in's 13%. If he calls a 2-bet, he's called it 33% of the time. I think there's hands that he probably, if it was to him, he probably would have raised. I think these are hands that he's just calling with. And then it's on me, so I could do a 3-bet. My 3-bet's going to be really tight here. There's a lot of players I have to go through, and with my 3-bet, I'm not going to make it, like 9 or 10 big blinds. You have to make it bigger. So I made it to 15. That might not be large enough. It probably could have been 18, just to apply some pressure. But I think definitely the larger size, and only one player calls. So when he calls, I think he's revised his range to something maybe like this, and maybe not even all of these, but definitely I think pocket pairs. He's looking to set mine. 2s, 3s, 4s I eliminated. I think he could have some of these hands, ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, king queen suited, and so forth. So we see a flop. King Jack 9, he checks. I think this is a board that I could easily bet here. I do have, if I'm behind, I've got the gut shot that I could catch. I have a queen that I could probably catch. I think when we look at what he would call if he checks and I bet, I think he's probably just dumping all of these pocket pairs. He's probably going to check raise the 9s and jacks, and I think what I was doing was just playing this a little bit cautious. Pot's already 40 big blinds. We're at like 3 SPR, so I just checked behind. 6 of diamonds comes out. He bets into me. He bets 66% of the pot, and I really thought about possibility of folding here, but then I thought, I've got the queens. How I played it, he could easily do this with like a queen jack or a jack 10, because I showed weakness. He's looking to try to pick up the pot, maybe even king queen that I'm behind. I don't think he has ace king. I think he would have raised or 3-bet that. So I did call, and then the 10 hit, and that's great. He checks, and now I thought, well, if he has jack 10 and hit 2 pair, I think it's going to be hard for him to fold. Pot's 99 or almost 100 big blinds. I have 80. I just shoved, and he folded. So we don't know what he had. So the question is, how do we do? What does GTO suggest? So I have it in, and with this range, villain should be checking 100%, and then looks like I'm going to be betting most of the time here, 76%. I do have some checks, including queens. The queens that they suggest checking would be the queen of diamonds, queen of hearts. So queen of diamonds, queen of hearts. I think we are just looking at hands that we don't want to be betting 100% here. So I think they picked some of these that work. Now, the clubs, there's no clubs on the board. There's spades on the board. I think with the queen of diamonds, if we have the queen of diamonds, we kind of exclude king queen from their hand. We exclude queen jack of diamonds from their hands. Same thing, I think, with the no, I think it's the diamond, really, is that's the important one. King queen, queen jack. Actually, I think king queen's probably why it's suggesting the check here. So what happens if I bet? Should he be raising with? So if he's playing GTO, he should be raising with his trips with 9s and jacks. He should be raising with queen jack, king queen. Mostly raising with jack 10. So I think some of those are the hands where I don't really want to be raised, especially like queen jack, because I'm going to be folding, or I think I'm going to be folding more than I should. So if he raises, then we're looking at, queens, queen diamonds, queen hearts should just be folding. And the question is, again, why? Why would I fold those but call some of the other queens? I think if we have the queen of spades, it makes it less likely that he has queen jack. I mean, he can't have queen jack of spades. He can't have jack 10 of spades. Maybe that's why. Maybe because we've already excluded the spade hands, whereas with the diamonds and the hearts, he could easily have jack 10. I don't know. This is a tough one as to why some of these queens, why we play some of them and not others. So yeah, I probably would have folded, and that would have been incorrect. So I did check. We had the 6 of diamonds hit. So now villain bet. I did program it so that he bet 2/3 pot, or about 2/3 pot. I said 66%. That's a little less than what he actually did. I think he bet 29. I have to fix that. That's 3/4 pot. Actually, let's rebuild the tree. The solver didn't take very long. So we changed that sizing. There we go. All right, so he's still checking. Now with that larger bet sizing, we are supposed to bet a little bit. We're betting more than checking. So let's say we did check 6 of diamonds, and now he's betting 43, about 44%. He's betting a lot more hands here. Ace 10, king queen. Yeah, I think there's a lot of hands that he's betting now. So he bets 30. Hands that we have, you can see we don't have a whole lot. Queens, looks like we are sometimes calling, sometimes folding. I called, and then we hit the 10 of clubs, I believe. And now he checks 100%, and now I should be betting 100% with the queen. So looks like I got that right, but let's go back and investigate some of these other decisions. So he checks, and I'm just curious, why do we bet queens? So we're going to set this up. If I bet, you know, he is supposed to fold all those. Well, he's supposed, let's see here, he's raising, he's not calling. So if he plays GTO, I think this is what we're guarding against with some of those queens. We would still call. I think a lot of players would just play like this. I don't know if ace jack calls. I think we'll put him in there as a call, and we'll put a 10 as a call. So let's run that solver. If I bet, he calls. And line. So now it becomes 100%. So I think some of the checks here was guarding against those raises because we would have to fold some of those hands. So, you know, if we bet and he just calls and that 6 of diamonds comes out, then he's supposed to be checking a whole lot. And now we're going to be betting, and we've got a range. We can bet half pot, or we can go to the full 90. It says, looks like we're checking with queens. Okay, I believe that. We could already be ahead to 10 jack. We could already be ahead to 10s, but we're going to be behind the kings, and we were then drawing to 4 outs at that point. So I think this kind of makes sense with the queens. That's why we're betting, you know, ace king, aces, ace king. We're not 100% betting them. And then some of our bets here are we've got somewhat betting for these as a bluff, ace 4, ace 5. Probably lean more towards the diamonds, even though GTO says we should be doing the spades instead. I guess with the spades, that makes it less likely that he had, you know, or more likely, increases the chance that he could have the diamond flush draw. So it's here. So we we did check. Let's go back here. And he bets 30, 22% of the time based on how he plays. So now the lines have changed a little bit. So we checked with the 6 because of how we're expecting to play. So I think he's going to be calling instead of raising. I checked, and now he's supposed to be checking more. But he bets 22%, and then at this point, do I even have? I do have a very fine slice. So we kind of get off because we should be betting 100%. It's going to have to run the solver again. Because we should be betting 100%, and then when we check. So while I won the hand, and I think I played it okay, I think we could have had some improvement on the flop. I did note the fold the flop c-bet 50-56%. I do think he's probably going to call if he has something, and that's probably more reason to go ahead and bet here. What about his check raise percents? So his check raise is 1 out of 11. I think that would have been probably the worst thing for us to do, for him to raise. And would he have raised all of these? Yeah, I think so. I don't think he would have raised ace jack. I do think king queen, king jack. I'm not even sure queen jack's going to be raising. But I think jacks and nines, and again, I'm not even sure king 10s or jack 10's going to raise. So, you know, we know if he raises here, we're going to be sometimes calling with the queens. Sometimes calling with the queens, the queen of diamonds. So again, it's like, why call with the queen of spades but not the queen of diamonds? It must be related to that, to this top card, to the king of diamonds. So it's less likely the villain's going to have the king of diamonds. So let's change this a little bit and say that he doesn't raise with, so he raises trips in 2 pair and the king queen, but queen jack and jack 10 he just calls. And let's say ace jack calls too. So let's run the solver. And we still have 75%. All right, so we bet he's going to raise. If he raises those, then I think it's going to be an easy fold to the queens. But if he just calls, then he's got a range, quite a few draws. So he checks, and then we should just be shoving. Looks like, well, shoving some of the time. We should be betting about half pot the rest with our queens. All right, so how do I think I played it? I think I could have improved it on the flop. I think checking is definitely a line that we could take, and I do think that, you know, when we check here and he bets 30, ooh, so he's got 100%. Let's undo that. I don't know why that happened. So I checked. So basically, I don't have any hands that check, and then villain doesn't have any. He should have hands. So at that point, you could see everything kind of falls down. So I think what we'll do is just rerun the solver. So I think we. Yep. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened. Just had an error on the screen. So just getting back. I think we could have improved by betting. If we get raised here, then I think we're probably still going to be calling. And then when he leads out, if he leads out, then I think we're going to just have to call and close our eyes on that, because he could have been doing it with queen jack, jack 10. We could always have folded some of it. and just be done with it. I think at least calling gives us a chance. So when we checked and he bet, I do think calling is going to be more appropriate. We're guarding against some of the aggression where we skipped our C bet and then he's just going to bet 100% of his range. Like he could have easily be betting here, 5s, 7s, and 8s because I showed weakness. So, all right, get this together, get this posted. If you like this, look tomorrow for another.